but I'm gonna prepare a little bit. I could even share some of it. Maybe when I'm at man camp, someone will ask me about my diet. It's like, hey, I saw you, and how'd you lose all that weight? And I'll tell them. I said I went on a carnivore diet. I lost over 50 pounds. Started working out, getting stronger. Just my life has been radically changed in this last year.
Go dad, go dad, go dad, go dad, go dad, go dance, go dad, go dad, go dance, 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 dance.
I can't breathe. Here it is again. Entire chuck roll. Hey everybody, it's Aaron from the Kilby Life, bringing another Kilby Life video today. I'm getting ready to go on a camping trip with my church, man camp. So I'm leaving tomorrow, Friday afternoon, and then we're coming back Saturday evening. So just one night, but I need to bring food just in case there's not meat for me to eat. And I have this beef chuck roll of 19.57 pounds, $100 chuck roll, and I need to break this down. And I'm trying to think, I think I'm gonna make maybe some jerky out of it, out of some of the cuts, and maybe also sous vide some of it, and then turn it into just sliced roast beef. And then my other thought, I just to bring some soft-boiled, hard-boiled eggs with me. So I thought I would just bring this video and show you me working on breaking some of this down. I am not an expert on this. I'm trying to learn how to do some butchery to save money on the carnivore diet. Yeah, maybe I should have got some napkins to put out here in my garage, because I do it in my house, but it's like very dark and I got a lot of kids. Yeah, one in the garage. Here's some shop towels. Makes sense. So I watched a couple videos about chuck rolls online, and they were essentially saying that one side is close to the neck, and then this side is the side that's closest to the ribeye. So sometimes you can get one or two essentially just nice ribeye type steaks off this side. So I'm gonna stir this up and just cut a couple like 1.5 inch steaks ish. I mean, it kind of looks like chuck to me over here. Maybe some ribeye look over here. Yeah, this piece looks really nice. That the grain's going that way on that piece. There's this piece, and I mean, there's a lot of different ways that I saw to break these down. Obviously, you could just cut it in the steaks and have a bunch of different, yeah, just steaks like this, and just nice fat in there. Some of the cuts are going to be more tender than the other ones. Another way to butcher big pieces of meat like this is to find like the individual seams and just take apart the different muscles. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to take apart these muscles. See how that like just is opening up? And then sometimes, you know, when you're looking at, you know, these big pieces of meat like this, you'll pull apart these individual muscle groups, and then you'll be able to tell like, oh, on this muscle group, all the grain's going this way, so cut the steaks this way, and they'll be more tender, and then you can kind of figure out the utility for them. I think this might be called the chuck eye. Honestly, I don't care what it's called as long as it's delicious. Yeah, I'm not sure how to break that part. Your hands. Bam. So this is a nice chunk. I'm gonna try to make it all in the steaks. You could like chop this up and just turn it into ground meat if you want. But you can get ground chuck for like $3.99 where I'm at. This was $5 a pound for this big thing, which I don't think is the best deal. You know, I know if I do make ground meat out of this, I know exactly what went into it. And I know like if I was a real butcher, I'd take a lot of this connective tissue off. Is that really fat? I don't know. Like I don't mind it too much. Let me pull a little bit of this off. I don't mind a little bit of gristle and stuff because, you know, on a carnivore diet, I think that's where a lot of like collagen and stuff hangs out. But I'll just show you how to kind of clean this up a little bit. But I want to leave all the fat I possibly can because fat is king. But yeah, this is silver skin, so you really don't need that. And again, I'm not a real butcher. Honestly, my dog will eat that. Yeah, this has that big chunk of fat right here. And honestly, on this, look at that. I think I'm just gonna cut that into steaks. And so what do we have here? Like on one of the videos, they said they had like a piece that looks like a flat iron or a skirt steak, and I think it's this piece, which is like good for like fajita type cuts, long strips, grilling. Fortunately, on this carnivore diet, I get to be home every night. I don't travel all the time. I feel like it'd be much harder in some respects to do this diet if you had to travel all the time. You know, because when you're traveling, at least for me, it's like, where do you eat? Where do you eat? Where are you gonna eat next? And to have the discipline to do that, you know, I commend anyone who has to travel all the time and is able to do a carnivore style diet. Leave some comments down in the comment section about some of your tips and tricks when it comes to travel. What do you take with you? My go-to has always been roast beef, beef jerky. Just dehydrate some meat. Roast beef, just sous vide the meat to 130 degrees, let it cool, then slice it up, put it in a Ziploc bag, and a little cooler, and I can just munch on that if I get hungry, and then hard or soft boiled eggs. That's my go-to. They're actually, at this man camp, they're gonna be grilling some food, and there's gonna be meat, but you know it's not gonna be 100% clean, which I'm not necessarily against. Because if you eat clean a lot, like that's, you know, just having a little bit of seasonings here and there is not gonna derail you, especially if you've been on the carnivore diet for a while. Yeah, so this is like a flat iron looking steak, how the grain's going this way. Yeah, I just cut it against that grain. The rule is always like, when it comes to meat, cut it against the grain. And there's these big hunks of fat on here, which I'm just gonna leave on there because I don't mind it on there. So if I decide to cook this whole thing, it'll have all this fat with it, and the fat is flavor. And what about this bad boy? Man, it looks like there's another steak section here, and then it looks like there's a little piece of some kind of meat. Someone will know exactly what this is. And I watched it on video, but I can't remember names. They have like, this is for Denver steaks and these for this, but different butchers call them different cuts. And so my simplified way of thinking about it is just find the different muscle groups. Just find the different muscle groups. Yeah, so this has been also one of my weeks off from working out. And my new workout regimen, working out 5 days a week and taking every 7th week off for rest when it comes to, you know, lifting weights and running or walking. You know, how many steps did I get today? 9,200 so far, which is pretty low for me. But that's, you know, without working out, just being at work, and I had a fairly light day at work today. Yeah, I think I'm kind of butchering that. Not the best way, but this one kind of has the grain that's going this way also. But there's just something about all that fat on there, and that just looks good. Like this I could portion out in little steaks too if I wanted to. But this, yeah, I think this big one, obviously, I'm just gonna portion this out in the steaks. And when I portion out steaks, I'm looking for about a pound per steak. A pound and a half per steak. And every time I say that and I cut them, it's like 14 ounces. So I'm gonna cut these a little thicker. So 1.5 to 2 inches. And I didn't bring my scale out here, but it doesn't have to be an exact science. Look at that. There's nothing wrong with that. And even if it's like a little tough here and there in some of these cuts, I'm okay with that. But a lot of my cooking technique would be, I would either just take this and sear it in a pan or the flat top grill I have, 3 to 5 minutes per side-ish, let it rest, eat it. Try to crisp up that fat. I'm gonna put this in this bowl. But my typical go-to is to put them in my sous vide machine so I can cook them. I could throw them in there on my way before my way to work for the day at 130 degrees, and when I get home, I have lunch if I need it and dinner if I need it, just all ready, and just sear it really quickly. Get something really hot. But even if you just fold these on, bam. And like the marbling in that looks so nice. I literally just ate dinner like an hour ago, and I'm like, this is getting me hungry again. What did I have for dinner? I had a ribeye steak. Man. And see these ones, this is pretty heavy. That's pretty heavy. That's over a pound. But if some cut heavier and some cut lighter, depending on the day, like I might not be as hungry. But I guess, yeah, this looks like another 2 different cuts of meat, honestly. You see how this is this steak and this is this steak? And this looks way leaner than this one. And I could obviously just move those up, take those apart. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna take this part. Just go right through there where that seam is. Some real butcher's like watching this someday saying this is the worst butchery video I've ever. It'll eat. Yeah, I like this. I think I'm gonna actually take this big chunk right here. This is maybe 2 pounds. I think I'll sous vide this. Has all this fat in there. I think I'll sous vide this, and this will be my roast beef that I'll bring with me. So a couple pounds of meat just in case. And this one looks a lot leaner. But you see how it's breaking apart there? It actually looks pretty nice. I think I'll clean this one up, and then I'll turn this one into some jerky. It like almost kills me in my soul to take the fat off meat. But when it comes to the jerky, like you don't want typically a lot of fat in the meat. It won't keep it as well. That being said, this won't need to keep because I'll eat it. And obviously, like all those trimmings could be used. You know, all these fat trimmings, you can use them. An option for this is just save all this, and after 3 months or whatever, depending on how you butcher out your own stuff, you save all this fat. Just keep saving it in the freezer, and then using it. The grinded it into some like leaner meats. I could save this all for hunting season, so when I get a deer next year and I need that up the fat content, I'll have all the fat ready. I would say tallow, but I find the best tallow I've made has come from the fat from Not like chuck steaks, but the fat from brisket. And I know there's a difference, but I just don't know what's the actual difference. Someone out there will know. But I guess if I'm gonna be on a carnivore diet, I better start learning about meat and butchery. But this is kind of something that I became a hunter. I started hunting for deer when I was 40 years old, almost 45. First year I got one with help from a friend. Next year I was skunked, and then I've got 2 every year since. No, this year I only got 1. There's one I couldn't recover. It was a very sad day. But you know, getting those deer, I started learning how to process this stuff myself. And there's professional ways to do it, but there's other, you know, I don't think anyone needs to be scared to try to butcher their own stuff. Like at the end of the day, eat it. Yeah, look at the grain on that. Bam, that's nice. I'm just gonna slice this into jerky. I'm just gonna do it strips, and that's pretty big, so I'm gonna have to start this tonight. But the way that that's coming apart, oh man, making me hungry. Yeah, I'm also excited about this man camp because last year I was about a month in on my carnivore diet, and I was at this man camp, and I just started hitting my stride. Like I started noticing I was losing weight, I was getting stronger, and I was feeling good. Now being 13 months into the carnivore diet, I'm just excited to see like how I stack up against everyone else my age, and if I can make any 20-somethings cry. There, I got a bowl full of steaks. Those are nice. This is my so far pile of jerky, and my jerky recipe is I'm just gonna put some Redmond salt on it, and probably Redmond salt, smoked salt that I made. So that. Oh yeah, there's that first steak I pulled off, and yeah, that's nice. I think I'm gonna save this whole one for just a day. Maybe I'll save this one for Sunday dinner. Man, I just like this one for some reason. It really looks like a flat iron steak. All that fat in there, just marbled. I'm just gonna keep that one whole for now too. Trim pile. This is my, yeah, it's on my trim pile. This is my, what is it? Oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna make my roast beef out of, and then I'm gonna cut this piece into steaks. And I think there might be 2 muscle groups here, but look at that big hunk of fat in there. Yeah. But these steaks are like, I'm gonna cut these ones thicker, 2 inches. See what this looks like. Like a little chuck steak. Looks like a little filet mignon. Like, how could it be bad? And it's gonna be, and it's gonna taste even better because you did it yourself. If you have the ability to do it, I don't want people to be scared of this. And so like people are like, carnivore diets are like super expensive. How does anyone afford this? I mean, this was $100, and if I eat all this myself, and I'm eating 2 pounds a day on average, that is only 10 days worth of food. But I'm not gonna eat 2 pounds per day every day. And I said it on this other video that's gonna come out tomorrow. You'll see this after that video, so that makes no sense. Forgot what I was saying. You know, I'll eat hamburger a lot of the time for lunch or dinner, one of the two. And that's a great way to supplement some of the cost. And if you're able to butcher stuff yourself and get deals and break down the whole thing and be able to package it yourself, it's not just only about saving money, but it's like you're putting the work into it, and it makes it taste better. It makes it taste better. If you don't have the time, I understand. Not everyone has the time to do everything. I might get one more steak out of this. Some random steak. It's like if I gave this to one of my kids that was misbehaving, wouldn't seem like a punishment. This is like, I don't know what to do with this. I could just make it a steak. I'm actually gonna just take this random piece, cut it against the grain with some of this connective tissue, slice it, just add it. And that's a little fatty, but I'm gonna add it to my beef jerky pile just as an experiment. Bam. Man can. Jerky. This will be roast beef. I'll try to just cook it like that. Sous vide this overnight, 130 degrees, mid-rare. Let it cool, slice it very thin. And I'm not even gonna clean up all this connective tissue because I do not care. It's good for my skin, it's good for my nails, it's good for my heart, it's good for my life. Yeah, so I guess I just want to say thanks for everyone that just watches these Kilby Life videos. I probably should have spent the time replying to comments, but I'm so far behind with work and just I'm doing parenting classes, I'm preparing for this man camp, which is important to me. But I guess as a word of encouragement for people, you know, the carnivore diet is very doable. It's very doable. And it's simple. And I'm thankful for that. And I've got a lot of healing in this last year. And I don't always say this, but like even from like going into this man camp, I knew I was gonna have to decide how to eat. Honestly, I could fast the whole time and not be the end of the world. It wouldn't be the end of the world. I could eat just some of the grilled food that they have, try to stay as clean as possible and just be just fine. But I'm gonna prepare a little bit. I could even share some of it. Maybe when I'm at man camp, someone will ask me about my diet. It's like, hey, I saw you and how'd you lose all that weight? And I'll tell them. I said I went on a carnivore diet. I lost over 50 pounds, started working out, getting stronger. Just my life has been radically changed in this last year. And it's helping me also spiritually because I've been preparing for this man camp also spiritually. I'm trying to like fill up so I can pour out in the lives of some of these men. I don't know where they're at in their lives. I don't know how much encouragement they need. I don't know where they're stuck. I don't know their health issues and problems. But I'm trying to fill up, you know, not just on good nutritious meat, but on essentially God's word. So I'm ready to pour out. And this week at work has been really tough. So don't be surprised when you try to go on a diet or get closer to God or do anything, honestly, that is like empowering for you, that's gonna move you forward in your life, something you've been putting off or something you wanna do that's just been difficult to do. Do not be surprised that immediately that you're gonna face some challenges. You know, you can say it's just challenges because they're challenges, or you can get really spiritual and say these are like literally attacks, right? Spiritual attacks against you. I don't care on the verbiage, but I believe that there are spiritual attacks and challenges and maybe some trials, some tribulations. But to me, I was really worried about going into this man camp because I'm a small group leader and being able to add value to a life, to anyone's life. And then I started having a rough week where I had 3 call-offs on one day, and I was stressed because now I had to do all the work myself. I ended up getting some help. Every day it worked out just fine, but I was in a situation where I just realized, man, something big is weighing on my heart. Something's weighing on my heart and I don't feel adequate. But when the challenges came, I was able to sit back and say, you know what? I'm gonna make it through this challenge and I'm gonna be stronger than ever because of it. and the frustration, the anger of the circumstances, the difficulty of the situation has actually empowered me and filled me up. Even though it feels like I've been drained, I've been drained of just my comfort and my own selfishness. I've been drained of my pride and have became more humble. And as a Christian man, I look at everything from a biblical, spiritual standpoint, but when it comes to a diet like this, you're gonna face trials and challenges also. And that's why I always say fall down less and get up faster when you do fall down, because you will fall down. But the self-discipline is good. When you have gone through the rough challenge, the trial, my prayer is that you'll be able to look back and say, I got stronger. I got stronger. And so this last year on this diet, I've got stronger. And this last week, through all the trials and tribulations that I've gone through, I've got stronger. I've got stronger. And I'm thankful now for the trials. And if it was discipline, I'm thankful for that too, because it's the growth I need. I'm ready to fight. Even more on this diet, and even more in my personal life when it comes to just growing and becoming a better man, better husband, better friend. I'm ready to pour myself out, and I'm ready to inspire, and I love it. I have an opportunity to be the man that I needed for myself. So when I see someone that just has that look on their face like it's been rough, I'll be able to walk over to them and I say, man, you're under attack. You got some obstacles. You got some hard times in your life. How can I help? I'm just gonna keep on keeping on, cutting meat and talk about Jesus. So yeah, I wanna thank everyone for watching these Kilby Live videos. Kilby out. I love meat. Dehydrated this meat. Hopefully, some of these bigger chunks, hopefully they're done within 18 hours. I'm becoming a meat connoisseur, and it's like sometimes you get meat and you're like, yeah, I'm not sure about this. And I've had like one ribeye, like I bought a whole ribeye once from one place, and it was like the worst ribeye I've ever got. It just has a funky taste. Yeah, that was not good. But this, it's just a choice grade, but seems great. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna salt the top of it while it's still a little damp. And that's that. All right, I'm running late. Let's get this jerky out of here. Ooh, fancy. Little sample. Oh man, it's always the best hot. I'm literally not hungry, but it's making me want to eat. Oh yeah. Nice easy snack. That's easy. Got some water. 11 hard-boiled eggs, soft-boiled eggs. There was 12, but I sampled one. My roast beef, all in some ice. Bam. I got a pocket full of orange and watermelon. So it's the weekend, and I got a bunch of these just in case I go really hard this weekend. And yeah, it's gonna be exciting. So I guess this is how I prepared for this weekend.